Hey, you.
Hey, you. Hey, you. Hey, you.
No, everybody's busy.
Nope.
So if you
Oh, wait.
go to you're the host, so you can spotlight the other camera. Thank you. Okay. We don't know. We're not going to know until. So you just go up to the three things and click spotlight for everyone.
There we go. Thank you. This off.
You can stay. You should stay in the web. You should just turn your camera off, right?
Sorry?
You're just going to turn your camera off.
Yeah.
Jeremy, at the end of the meeting, I need to speak to you about something. I don't know if you have time right now.
Right.
From my non-ideas
Right.
regarding this event or whatever. So the question becomes this, is they're really looking for like a committee.
Right.
They're looking for the board to co-sponsor an event.
Right.
And my understanding of that is that
That should go to whoever.
has to go to who?
Yeah.
All right, so then
I'll reach out to them.
let him know because they're waiting for an answer because it doesn't seem like they're willing
There wouldn't be anything for us except our name.
Right, exactly, but I don't know, like, I would not be in charge of saying yes.
I'll deal with that.
Okay. And then if it ends up being a committee thing.
Okay. Sorry? Figured we would. We want it. It's a good test for us.
This whole other side. That's good.
Thank you. I have a note to call you because I wanna maybe talk about that. So if I can look, is looking and like, is something.
Yeah, we can find something. And
Let's leave them.
So you are both on camera and you are both on microphone. Just a warning. Just a warning.
Yeah, so I might have whoever it was, especially if I can see it on the screen.
Session. Students, are you students? They bought books, they have. You know, our kids, this is like me. Yeah. 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 He's fourth grade.
Oh, really? Kind of been parked up. Because a lot of people yeah.
She's got, we're all.
See you.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. Been a bit.
yeah, the ones who like that one that try. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. There you go, Leon. Everything all right? No.
Yeah.
Meeting starts at 6. Okay. Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Yes.
He'll be here in a couple of minutes. He thought it was 6:30. What happens when we switch back and forth? Yesterday was 6:30.
That's sitting out there. Are we doing that? Yeah.
Yeah. And,
I had like nothing, right?
yeah. No, just chair and 2 vice chairs. We're not going to be on camera. You are.
I have some news.
Congratulations. What do you do?
First.
Do you know? Do you want to know? Rarely. Rarely does.
No, I mean. And I know that. And I would love, and I really.
Guarding yourself, like on the side, keep on.
I had a late lunch. I still remember what it's like to meet in person. It hasn't been that long. No, it has been that long. But, you know, yesterday was the first one, and it felt like old muscles.
And so,
Way more effective than this.
One more thing, I gotta find it.
Thank you.
We're just a few minutes delayed, but we're gonna start very soon, right? Very, very soon. Thank you for your patience.
This was great. Thanks for printing this, girls. There's one question.
There will be any drafts.
I would like to add draft
It was sitting under here,
during roll call.
23 years old. Oh, would one of you just unlock the ladies' room?
I was reappointed. Well,
this year they did.
How you doing? Good seeing you.
They talked about how to respond when you can't vote on something. And I have only said recuse, which is what they said. What did they say? You recuse yourself instead of no mention of present. Huh. So, just saying.
Okay, so now I got, looking for here and I will take the draft off. And change the date.
And I believe the swearing in is available to everybody. Listen to it, but that
And
was.
they've also sent around some like workshop invites. One
Yeah.
of them is during
Yes, yes, I saw that. Yes.
they're probably gonna be really useful.
Mhm. And I think people also have to pay attention to when something's planned. I've never in for almost 20-something years now. It's very hard. I feel bad for the most family. But it was interesting. I don't know why. My last year. I didn't. I was glad. For new recruits, if I say, I think it's definitely. Oh, yeah, but I mean, I don't think I've done it.
Cues.
Either abstain, which is a no,
You're right.
still a no-go.
I already spoke to him.
And then excuse yourself from.
Huh. Yeah, he was in the park, so he was already. Yeah.
Okay, great. Is that awesome? Present thing. Is Julio on his way?
Yes. When I called him about 5 minutes ago, he was in the park, so he should be here. in a moment.
No, we won't. I think that's. Oh, because I love my hair go. Okay. Thanks, company. Yeah. Everybody that does can have to use their life. I used to do the I just here when I was.
I didn't check the mic. So, here.
I just think
It's gonna be like, yo.
Hello? Hello? Hang on. Hello? Yes? Hi, Beverly. There is no link for tonight's meeting. It's an in-person meeting. Yep. Gotcha. No problem. You too. Bye-bye. How does she have my cell phone number?
Forgive me, everyone. OMG. Already a hot mess. Okay. Yes.
Oh, we have these guys,
Yep.
right? Who wants to be on mic? I can have.
No, no, I'm not making you do
Really?
that. No.
Okay.
We have staff.
You can take turns. Pat, you wanna get us started?
There's so much chair. Can open up the meeting.
Evening, everyone. My sincere apologies for my tardiness. I entered this into my calendar at 6:30 instead of 6 when Pat told me it was starting at 6, and I did it anyway. So I sincerely apologize. It's not something that I normally do. Welcome to, this is a joint executive committee meeting and membership and attendance committee. This is the first time that we are doing this for new board members, and we're actually really excited to do this. It's something that I wanted to do for everyone last time to welcome new board members, orient them, and just make sure that folks know what we do here and make sure that they feel welcome. My name is Julio Benny III. I'm the chair of Community Board Senate. And I want to do some introductions of the executive committee, who we are, and I want to hear who our new board members are. So I will start with our first vice chair.
Hi, I'm Cindy Vandenbosch, and I live in Wizard Terrace. I'm just grateful we're doing this year, and we have a member handbook to share with everyone as well. These things. My name is Pat Ruiz. I am the second vice chair. I've been serving on this board close to 20 years, if not longer. I am currently the chair of the membership and attendance committee. That's the fun part. So I don't know if Leo wants to start there or continue with introductions of board members. You want to do this?
Let's do the rest of the executive committee, and then
Perfect.
yes.
And as I'm also chair of ability and access, we've worked really hard to change our conventions to make sure communication is accessible and everyone can hear and understand what's being said. So that's why we use the microphones. Yes, that
Speak into the microphone. What microphone when they speak?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. I'm Karen Rolnick. I'm the secretary, board secretary, and also on the task force that put this together. So if you find that you need information that you're looking for that you can't find, that you think should be in here, please let us know and we will try and include that information. Oh, and I've been on the board, I don't know, 6 years, but I've been coming to meetings longer than that. Who's next?
Right next to you.
I don't have any buttons. Okay, good. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is John Galooper. I am the assistant secretary on the board. And so in addition to that, I'm also the vice chair of the transportation committee, and I'm glad to have everyone new here. Welcome. I'll pass it off to, I think, Sid. There we go.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Felix Jeffers. I am the treasurer, and I'm also the chair of the Public Safety Committee. Welcome. Congratulations. Welcome to Community Board 7.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cesar Suriga, and the Community Engagement Officer. I always forget that title. What I want you to know, I've been serving the community in different capacities for close to a decade now. Welcome, congratulations, and just know that this is a real opportunity for us to serve this community, right? I think if you think about what we do on the community board, we are the most proximal level of local government to the community. And so there are real opportunities for us to make a difference. So I'm super excited to share what we have. And I'm also excited that there is going to be some new blood and perspectives on this community board. And I think that's always super healthy for democracy. So I'm really looking forward to working with all of you guys.
Yes. And before I have our awesome board staff introduce themselves, we have two members of our executive committee that are not here this evening, but I just want to make sure you know who they are. There are Victor Swington and Sam Sierra, who are our Sergeant at Arms and Assistant Sergeant at Arms. When we are back to our in-person meetings, they just ensure that our room stays orderly and people aren't shouting and screaming, and our doors stay clear, so people have easy egress. In our virtual world, hasn't been much of an issue, but now that we're starting to be back in person, we'll be mindful of that. And you probably have already met our board staff, but I do want them to introduce themselves because they literally keep us running.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jeremy Laufer. I'm the district manager for the community board. I've worked for the board for 23 years. I'm the newest employee here. So your staff has about 80 years experience working for this community board. Your handbook will tell you a little bit more about what we do, but you are all community board members. The community board hires the staff. So we're a little different. We're city employees. We actually get paid. I'm sorry to say to you. And I thank you for our salary. We run the day-to-day operations in the board. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or a little bit later, depending on the day. You set up meetings, we help make contacts, we do constituent services, we do outreach to city agencies, a wide variety of things we do, one of which is give advice. And we're more than happy to answer questions, any questions that you have about the community or government operations. We're very good at scrambling. We were scrambling to get system working, but fortunately it is. We are very good at helping figure out community problems. I'd like to turn it over to my assistant district manager, Maria Gonzalez.
Welcome aboard, new board members. Like Jeremy said, my name is Maria Gonzalez. I am the assistant district manager here at the board.
I am the oldest employee of staff here. I've been working for the community board for 31 years. I'm born and raised in Sunset Park. I'm born and lived in Sunset Park, but I was born and raised here. I basically, this is what the staff does, office work here, but we all, each one of us specialize in a specific office. My specific duty here is when you get a call from the membership and attendance committee, the person that calls you or sends you notices, would be me. I handle the attendance for the board, and then I send out the notices on behalf of the chair of the membership and attendance committee. So you will be hearing, if you miss certain amount of meetings, you will be hearing from me. I will be the one calling and sending the notices out. I also person who does all the purchasing of the supplies, equipment in the office. The person who supplies everything so the meetings can run smoothly. And the office can run smoothly. That's basically it. I've been here for a while, 31 years. I enjoy my job. I enjoy my coworkers. We are like a family here. We work here. We work hard. Some people sometimes come in and hear us laughing, but we work hard. We work hard. We are a family here, and we enjoy each other's company. We have each other's back, and we are here to help anyone who needs our help. We can catch any one of us here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. After 5 o'clock.
Maria does so much bureaucratic paperwork, I have no idea how to do.
You're one of those person that has a specific duty. So anything that has to do with purchasing and paying bills and dealing with any kind of city agency.
So we all handle constituent complaints. If you call us or email us, any one of us should be able to help you. Sometimes we work together to do that. The first point of contact, though, is usually Natasha Cordero, who's our new community associate.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natasha Cordero. I'm a associate here for a very long time. Over 25 years. Funny story. 28 years. Funny story. I came on as temporary, from for maternity. And 28 years later, I long maternity leave for that. Like, I'm responsible. You're the person sending those numerous emails. Sorry to bombard you. Of our upcoming meetings, public hearings, board meetings, information from elected officials about community events. Something you're aware of. I'm the one that sends that out to you. So forgive me for bombarding you with all those emails. Also, I handle constituent cases, case by case basis. We all, attorneys that we all do it together. Sometimes we need help with one another, depending on the case itself. But like Maria said, we've been working together for a long time. Like, years of experience and knowledge with the city, so we have to work with the city agencies. People come to us when they try to resolve things on around, so they come to us for help, for guidance, various issues. And if there's an issue that our office cannot deal with, we will refer them to the appropriate agency or entity to get that help. If they don't call us, and we just refer them somewhere else, and we don't help them. That's not how it works here. If it's something we cannot do for them, we find them the resources to get that help. So that way they don't feel like I call this place for nothing. I can't begin to tell you how many times people call 311 and they refer them to us. Our number is call Q47. That's not Bronx. It's not Queens. It's not Manhattan. We've gotten all those calls. And then we have to look up the address. Oh, this is the community board you should call. I can briefly tell them, okay, this is what you should be doing, but you must call your community board. We don't cover this street. And they can tell me, oh, it's at this street. I'm like, no, it's not in the district. Yes, it is. I'm like, are you calling from the Bronx? Yes. We're in Brooklyn. And then, for 3-1 for to us. But I like working here. I like helping people. I really here. Part of my family grew up here, was raised here. I hung around. I went to Sunset Park Pool. So it's just weird that to be in this neighborhood all the time that I'm working for the community board here is just kind of like it's what I guess you can say. So if you need help with it, doing services, need to be connected to something, just call us or email us. We're here to help you as best as we can.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Natasha.
So now, I'm excited to meet our new board members. So if we can, we'll pass around the mic. If you could just share your name, what neighborhood you are in the district, and want to do something fun. So let's do favorite dessert.
Yeah, we'll be working on
Guys, thank you for having me here. My name is Gabriel Morales Escapia. I joined the community board because I saw that we needed at least a little bit more representation of, my diversity group of people, immigrants, and so I want to bring that to the table, to the forefront, and what we can do to help our community out, as well with everybody else included. Everybody could be an immigrant, you never know who, and I just want to share my perspective with community. I have worked as a security officer for many years. I've also worked in hospitality, and so public safety is my major one concern here in this community, and hopefully I can make a difference with public safety here. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. And what is your favorite dessert? Yeah, right. Favorite dessert on the John? Thank you guys.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Chavez. I live in South Slope, so the north part of the district. My favorite dessert would be chocolate cake.
I feel awkward saying, so I'm gonna say it.
No pressure.
Okay, mostly because of myself. My name is Brian Smith. I actually live right around 40th Street, so Sunset Park. Me and my family live here. So I have a wife and 2 kids who all of us absolutely love this neighborhood. And I wanted to become more a part of it and really just give back in any way I can. But also, I'm here to learn from everybody that's lived here for so long. And I want to be respectful of all the knowledge and information that already exists from. So I hope I can contribute in my own way. And Juan was going to be mine. Appreciate the fun.
Hi, my name is Doris Asol. I was born and raised in Sunset Park right here on 45th and 3rd, and I'm now in Alpha. I am a home health aide, and I work for the New York City Board of Elections as a coordinator, post-site coordinator. And like him and like her, I'm also here to learn and to help people and help them move forward. And my favorite dessert is cheesecake.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Kaplan. I live in Central Park on 41st Street and lived previously on 46th Street. And yeah, I've been just very involved in the community. I have 2 kids, 1 kid now in 4K. And yeah, I would say favorite dessert is the Tres Leches from La Gran Via on 46th Street. That was my favorite bakery when we lived on 46th Street. Yeah, that's the best Tres Leches. Hey everyone, I'm Nick Jackson. I live on 34th Street, so I guess the north edge of Sunset Park. I lived here for a couple of years now, but I'm pretty committed to sticking around. I really love this community. My favorite dessert is probably a chocolate chip cookie.
Hi.
Oh,
So and but I'm excited to hopefully be part of the health, and that's what I'm most passionate about, and that's what I related to. I'm here to help offer my skills and to help the lives of support. And my favorite dessert is right now. It's anything with like a yogurt and fruit tart. Looking fruit, but I want the summer here.
trustees. My name is Damien, recently new. I, I joined because I feel like we need more youth engagement and youth voices. I want to give back to the community via the youth perspective. And I would say my favorite dessert is cake.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joanna Romero. I do a lot of things. I'm a social worker. Right now, I work for the DOE. I also have a private practice. I'm a DJ, so I do a lot of things. I was born and raised here in Sunset Park. And I joined because I want to keep being a part of the community. I want to give back. And my favorite dessert is pie.
And then I just want Cynthia to introduce herself.
You can't hide.
Yeah, you can't hide. Ever.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the community. Dollars. I believe that I'm probably the oldest board member in attendance because I thought it was years, but it's been here 31 years and I've been here way longer than that. I became involved with the board in 1984 because I was elected district leader at that time, and at that part of my job to select people for the community board and also people that worked at the polls back in the day. I'm talking about back in the day. So I was born and raised here. Service since I'm 18 years old. I am chair of the health committee. What was the health and mental health committee when it started, but now I have become the health and human service. So our committee does a lot of work. Awareness and to bring services to improve the health of our population. Retired social work, clinical social work. So I've been doing a lot. I have been on this community because I'm born and raised here, and I've been working since I'm 8 years old, and I'm very grateful to continue doing public service to help everybody that has that in their heart. I'm here for all of you because this is very important, the work that we do. I want to talk about my favorites. I guess if I was
So for folks who might be watching on YouTube, our apologies, but Spectrum's right outside and they told us they're gonna knock out our internet shortly.
To be writing some detailed minutes afterwards. So thank you everyone for your introductions. I'm super excited for your participation. And there's a couple of items that we want to go over in this evening. The most major one.
Hit the wrong button.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The most major one is the member handbook, which we're incredibly excited to have as you guys, you folks on board this year. We're pretty much how we operate. It's a go-to guide. I am absolutely not going to read it verbatim because that's honestly a waste of time. But it's also, I just think it's super useful for you folks. There are a couple of things I do want to highlight. The monthly meetings of our board are pretty much a summary of things that have happened in the last month. So for example, On the agenda, there are committee meeting reports. So the committee meetings are where really the magic happens of this board. The chairs will usually present shortly of like things that have happened. If the committee has decided to vote on something, we'll vote on a resolution, or vote on an action item, they will present that for the full board to weigh in on. Usually we ask board members if you cannot attend a committee meeting to watch the recording, which is why that's something's coming off. Our internet is not so great. We usually always live stream our meetings onto YouTube, so it's always good to catch the recap so that we can be aware of what is happening if we're voting on something. So there's the committee meeting reports, hearing any updates from committees. Then there are the reports that the chairperson that I give, that the district manager gives. There is the elected officials report. So we're represented from a multitude of elected officials, from our council member, assembly member, state senators, all the way up to the mayor's office. They usually, not all of them, sometimes there have been all of them, which can be a little lengthy, but they usually present at, they talk to us about things that's going on in their offices. And then we have what's called new business and old business at our meeting. It's usually an opportunity for board members to talk about any outstanding business items that they brought bringing over from previous meetings, or any new business items. So if there's something that they want to share, if there's something that they want to make sure that the board is aware of, they bring to the board. And that's pretty much the monthly meetings. And like I said, the committee meetings are really much where the meat and potatoes, or to be more accurate, where the actual action of the board happens. So for example, I'll just give an example. Transportation is a committee that has had a lot of meetings the last couple of months. There's been a lot happening along Third Avenue. So that meeting has been, that committee has been quite frequent. So the transportation committee has been presenting at every monthly meeting. So when you're thinking about committee assignments, we usually ask board members to think about your kind of like your work experience, but also like your own community experience. So for example, like I work in education and youth, like my past 20 years experience. So prior to serving as chairperson, I was the chair of the education youth committee, because that was like my passion. I also have in like my other life, I am also like a semi-parliamentarian. So I was also the chair of the bylaws committee, and right before during COVID, we just updated our bylaws. So that was just something that I was really passionate about. So as you're thinking about committee assignments, think about an area or areas where you feel like you can contribute to the work of that committee. Right now, we have about 15-ish committees, which is a lot. One thing I'm thinking about this summer is reorganizing some of our committees so that they're not as onerous. I don't want board members to feel like they have to attend every single committee. And 15 committees are meeting, even though not all of our committees have been meeting, but if all of these committees are meeting, then that may feel a lot of pressure. And we do recognize this is about volunteer board. We all have day jobs. Some of us have multiple jobs, and I want to be mindful that the work needs to be spread out amongst all of us. And I just want to make sure that folks are supporting each other, but also making sure that we're doing the work of this board. This is an advisory board. Like we don't make laws, but we also we can hold our elected officials accountable. We can bring city agencies to the table. They sometimes don't always listen to what we say, but they do, we do hold some weight in that. And like a lot of boards tend to be kind of reactive on certain things, but this board has had a record in being pretty proactive on a lot of issues. And I hope that we can continue doing that. I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna pause if any of my other executive committee members wanna add anything.
Yeah, I want to kind of add something, because I think,
Pause.
great, thank you. I think something that I'd like to kind of put out on the table is just the recent history, right? Because I think Julie just started to allude to something that I think is really important to the context of this community board, and that's that we've led in a lot of ways that other community boards haven't, right? So if you look at all of this equipment, you know, this was something that, as a board, we sort of we wanted to operationalize the ethos of being open, being transparent, right? So I think the Access and Ability Committee was something that was really important to us to open up the space, right? To everybody, regardless of your ability, right? I think we really wanted to lean into it. So I think the ethos of being open, transparent is something that I think has guided this community board. And, you know, we leaned into a lot of things, that go above and beyond the charter requirements, right? I think if some of you were around for some of the rezonings we've done in the last few years, we leaned into the fact that we didn't feel like the current rules within the context of the ULURP process, which is the rezoning process, was enough to like really engage the community. So we did a lot of work during some of these rezonings to go above and beyond what the charter requires us to do. So I think that's really important context because while we have a charter mandate, we also have some latitude to think outside of that box and to do things that I guess we felt were needed to, like, you know, increase the engagement of the community. And so I think that sort of will be my third sort of area of where this board has really leaned into, and that's trying to get more engagement. Again, I think the reality that we have found, and again, I'm hoping with new blood, new perspectives, we can continue to be creative about how to do outreach into this community. We have members of the community who just have a different priorities, right? Because of their status, because of what's going on in their lives. And I think it's up to us to try to create more opportunities that will allow people to engage. So just to give you an example, you know, during, again, some of these hearings that we had on zoning, we sort of thought about some of the barriers that prohibited people from engaging. So language access is one of them, right? So we spent our limited resources to buy translation, to do simultaneous translation. We also figured out that things like childcare and food sometimes keep people from engaging, right? So we created opportunities to have childcare folks who needed childcare at these meetings. So again, I just kind of want to put that out there because it is something that we should all feel really proud about, and we should continue to try to go above and beyond in our work to engage in the community.
Thank you, Seth. Any other? Yeah, go ahead, Cindy.
One thing I wanted to share too, is I know all of you are new members and so excited to work with you. But you must also know other people that would like to get more engaged and involved in the community board. And these are a way to do that. So that people can apply, and you can also just come to any of these meetings, right? And kind of get a sense of how the meetings operate and work. That's a great way to start to engage. And you know, every person who lives in the district, whether it's
you've been here a day, or you've been here 50 years, like your voice counts, and just remember that. We're really here to listen to, learn from one another, and also this is, I think, like the base of our democracy is where communities participate, is where we sort of wrestle with ideas together. And so, tell your friends or family members if they want to get engaged, we want them engaged. From an accessibility perspective, I just wanted to mention one thing, which is that in addition to using these microphones, we also have a booth in this room. So when we have meetings, if there are people who are wearing hearing aids that have T-coil switches, which is most of them, they can turn them on and then the sound broadcasts. So again, like the sound system facilitates that, and that's why it's so important to speak into the microphone. And you'll see sometimes it might be like someone who's used to the crowd, but like, nope, you gotta use it. There's a reason why. So I just that it's not a visible thing that you can see it beneath the carpet, but it's part of what's built into this room. And that was something a lot of this technology came pre-pandemic when there were some extra funds that were available to the city council. So something we're really proud of. So that would be, I would say the two things is like, please encourage others to engage and participate as much as possible. And we want to hear your ideas. We want to wrestle with ideas together and do so in a respectful way. Because we're all here volunteering. We may have ideas. That's why we're here. And that's democracy. So, yeah.
And what's so important is your presence, membership and attendance. That's the fun part. It's great. We're very understanding on this meeting. We have never, to my recollection, ever kicked anyone off. For cause maybe, but I don't see that at all. I'm very excited just to see the diversity all around. This was not like this 15, 20, 25 years ago, so 30 years from age, race, ethnicity, LGBTQ. I am like so an age for you. Thank you so much. But the important part about the attendance gives us quorum. Quorum lets us have an official meeting. If you are late to a meeting, whether we are meeting in person, let me just start there, meeting in person, we have a sign-in sheet. If we're meeting on Zoom, hybrid, we have 2 roll calls, one at the start of the meeting and the second towards the middle of the meeting. If you missed 2 and you do not make yourself known, put it in the chat, send an email, someone will get it. You will say, I am here. What happens by chance, if you miss 2 consecutive meetings and you say, I was there, Maria and Natasha review the videotape. And if we don't see you, we don't hear you, you are marked absent. But we're pretty good about it. After the first 2 consecutive monthly meetings, you'll get a friendly phone call from one of the ladies, followed by an email that talks about the conversation that you had, what your reason was, etc. That email response only goes to the executive committee, Jeremy, Denise, myself.
I'm not executive committee.
Jeremy as the district manager, Julio as chair, vice chair, and me. We are the ones that get that, and me because I am chair of the committee. If you do not respond, that's put into the record. If you miss the 3rd consecutive meeting, you will be called to meet before the membership and attendance. And that is done by email. And if I am correct, unless we were still doing before COVID, a registered return receipt certified mail is sent to you. So you can't say you didn't get it unless you move. And if you move, we would have to know because it's not a Um, but that's pretty much the deal.
That.
But sure, correct me.
No, that is the, we also send,
One moment. There you go.
your certified mail, registered, which you have to send to us. But that email that gets sent to you, gets sent in importance, where we also get a notice back when you get it, or when you open it. So we are aware if you've read the email or not, and if you received it or not. So either way, we will know if you received the notice or not.
But please know, I mean, we're very understanding. Things come up. I mean, you might be late to a meeting and we didn't get you at attendance. So just let us know that. If you know you're not available to come to a committee meeting or a full monthly board meeting, send an email to Jeremy. He will inform us. Like they say, no absence is excused, but we do take into consideration certain things that is discussed among the executive committee. It is not shared with anyone if that is the choice of the committee member. Do you have any questions on membership and attendance? What you can and cannot do, please feel free. Hi, Jeremy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Get into the new routine.
You were saying 2 consecutive hours?
Monthly consecutive meetings.
Okay.
You'll get the phone call and followed by a friendly email.
So I was under the impression that it was if you missed 2 altogether through the year, but it's just 2 consecutive.
2 consecutive meetings. Now, let me tell you, if there are cases, and we've had them, where there has been a member who has missed 2 consecutive meetings, they responded with what their reasoning was, and we let it, we have it in the books. We know why. It wasn't any reason for us to say, we're wrong. No, that's not the case. Even if it's 30 consecutive meetings, again, we have had members who dealt with sick illness, and not the leave of absence, but we have it in our notes. Again, we don't want to lose members. All we want is for you guys to communicate, let us know, I'm running late. I can't make it to this meeting. So if you can't make it, you have the availability to review the video on YouTube, on hopefully the community board stuff website. That's a work in process. And again, by the notes that are distributed before every monthly meeting, and every committee that I'm aware of, they're pretty good with sharing all of their notes. So, and if you're friendly with someone on the board, and just reach out to them, and get up to date on what's going on. But welcome, and I look forward to not having to call anyone in front of us. Thank you.
Yes, there we go. Do folks have any questions? Thank you, Cynthia.
So my question is, I know this was reviewed in one of the meetings for membership and attendance about having a forum for when votes go, when votes happen. And so once we're having that hybrid meeting, I just want to know, can we have a forum with somebody being hybrid and in person when we have those meetings, or what's the process?
That is an excellent question. So right now, because the executive order that allows virtual meetings is still in effect, quorum is a majority of our appointed board members. So right now, our total board members is 48. Thank you. Which means a quorum is
29. 25.
25. Oh, I have to say 25. 25 board members. When we are on a virtual meeting, we need 25 members in attendance. When the executive order ends, and we are in an in-person meeting. We need 25 members in attendance in person for us to conduct our meeting. Members can attend in person, members can attend virtually and participate in the meeting, but they will not count towards quorum. They can vote, yes. They can vote, they can participate as a regular board member, they just do not count towards quorum. And that is state law, not city law.
Am I also correct? Did I hear this, that we have to show our faces throughout the meeting?
They have to be seen, heard, and identified, which Zoom already does. So we are in compliance. That does not qualify for, that does not, for members in person. But which we're already doing because we have assigned seating.
And I just say, like, when I first joined the board, I just felt like there was so to take in about like how things function and how the committees operate and how the meetings are conducted. And a lot of that's in this, and a lot of it's gonna be today. So please just ask questions, like, and we're all here for you, and we might know, but we'll know who to ask. So anyway, this just to say that we're getting an orientation today, but just please never be shy to speak out and ask if you have questions.
And I will say, when I first joined the board way back, actually wasn't that long ago, kind of at this point. When I first joined, one of the things that I was really intimidated by was like, I remember sitting like right back in the corner and I had no idea like when I should ask a question or when was it appropriate, like what time to speak. But never be afraid to ask, just like raise your hand. You'll get called on. And I think this handbook gives a good guide. Of course, we follow Robert's Rules of Order. So if you have a question, it's I have a point of information. And if you have you feel like someone is violating or not following the rules, it's a point of inquiry. And I believe we still have the Robert's Rules book in our office.
I don't believe so. I think we gave that away to the previous parliamentarian.
Okay.
Didn't get it back.
We'll work
We
with
do
it
have-
some more.
Oh, we do have 4 copies.
There we go. So we have some Robert's Rules books.
It's also called.
And so we do, but it's not the 12th edition, newly revised, which is the current. It's not like I'm a professional of newly revised. We're very much go with the flow. But I forgot my train of thought. But yes, yeah, don't be afraid to raise your hand, ask a question. Yeah, we're pretty chill. Any questions?
Not a question, but.
Microphone. Please.
Tomorrow, tomorrow, everyone should receive an email from Zoom with their own panelist link. It's a week reminder about the board meeting next week. You'll also get one the day before the board meeting and an hour before the board meeting. In the event you have not received this email 3 more times from Zoom, please call the office, send us an email. Make sure you get it. Also, if you're, oh yeah, don't share everyone receives their own personal panelist link, don't share it with another board member, with anyone. If anyone is interested in attending a meeting, email us, call us, we'll send them the register to join the Zoom webinar. As one more thing, if your contact info ever happens to change, your email address, please always make sure to send us an email to have. Or if you wish to receive the Zoom information or meeting notices at the email address, you send us an email, we'll add to our contact list. Just to make sure you don't miss any kind of information.
Hand up over here.
Earlier, there was one thing that I just whispered to Sydney, and I really think this is important, sharing of our contact information. That is something that the board does not do. And they will contact you if someone has a reason to want to contact you, whether it's by email or phone. Don't ever feel obligated to share your information, because everything that goes on in this meeting and any meeting has to go through the chair. Every piece of communication was just disseminated by them to us. So don't ever feel obligated.
Thank you. So our contact information, so we have our board members' contact information. Committee chairs usually may request contact information of members on the committee so they can communicate perfectly fine. Members of the public will often reach out asking for information. So I'll give you an example. Someone will reach out for information on, and this is something that has happened, on a streetlight issue or something on a corner, and will ask to forward the email to the transportation committee chair because they want them to respond. So the board will reach out to the chair of the transportation committee, will forward them the email, and they can either choose to respond or they will respond via the board's office. So if someone reaches out, the board will forward the information. But members of the public always feel free to give them the board's email address, the board's contact information, and they'll contact us that way. But our information is always available via the board. And sorry, cut you off twice.
I have two questions, and maybe I'm jumping the gun. The first one is the email we all received, which is information about us to get back to the items we were given. Is that something we fill out as a hard copy, or is that a document that we fill out and email back?
Either way is fine.
Okay, cool. And this is the question that maybe I'm jumping the gun, but I'm really curious about process of things, like how that works, how we get on them. If somebody could explain that. Great.
Sure. Committee assignments are, for the most part, if people request to be on a committee, I'm usually pretty much they get on the committee. There'll have to be something pretty, like if the committee is already very large, then I'll consider that. But yeah, it's pretty much what people want to be on.
You could also attend any committee that you want. And if you're a board member attending that committee, you can vote at that committee, assuming that there is a quorum of committee members.
And you have to have attended majority of the meetings, right?
On that topic.
On that particular topic. So if there's a vote and it's on, there have been multiple meetings and you've only attended that. You haven't been there for the majority of like the recent meetings on that topic. So that you would actually not vote for that reason. That's covered it. So.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Rosie, and just wait for the microphone. Thank you.
So the board meeting this month is virtual only.
Correct.
Do we know when it changes from the emergency powers? And I'm just curious, will all meetings afterwards still be hybrid, or is that dependent on committees? And is there a standard that all committees are now going to do the same thing or offer hybrid and in person? And just curious about that.
If you have a direct line to the Adams administration and know when that executive order is going to end, please let us know. We don't know when that's ending, to be honest. We're kind of playing it by ear. we all assumed that it was gonna be ending in April, and it didn't, it got extended. In terms of, virtual meetings, I will be making an announcement in the May meeting, and I'm not going to say anything else after that. Let's stay tuned. And in terms of committee meetings, it's up to the chair. Right now, they have the option of doing virtual or in person. We're still working out hybrid, so we're not like 100% there yet, but we will be very soon. Stay tuned. Did that answer all your questions, Shirley?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
I have one that's kind of a prompt for you. Okay. So one of the things too in the meetings is that you want to make sure that you express, your viewpoint is something that you're to be able to add to the sort of discussion or considerations of the board. But there's also a lot of times when there's many thinking about, does someone already say, like thinking about like when you take space or make space. And one thing I wanted to ask you, Julio, is to clarify like the convention, right, or whatever schools is that other members with their hands raised would speak. And then there may be another opportunity to speak, but it would be only after others who have not had the chance to are able to kind of engage, right? So we're trying to hear as many voices that want to come forward on a particular issue. And so I'm kind of asking about if you raise your hand more than once during this particular discussion, how does that work? And like, why we're rules of order for meetings?
Yes, so that's a very good point. During discussion, in a board meeting, if, we are discussing an item, usually if there are multiple hands raised, I will defer to members we have not heard from. If there are multiple hands raised from people who have spoken previously, I'll defer to those we have not heard from. And I will also ask for folks, I think just like you said, we want to hear differing opinions, and we kind of want to not rehash. I think it's also important though, in that discussion, if they're we're hearing the same thing, then I think we know where the direction of the board is going, which I think is also important to know. But it's also very important that we hear from people who we don't normally hear from. And that's important as well.
I think we try to I think we as executive board and as sort of the leadership, tries to discourage filibustering, right? Because again, the idea is to hear a cross section of perspectives, right? But I think it's up to us also to police ourselves around the filibustering stuff that goes on, right? Where people just want to drive home a point. So folks will just kind of get on this filibuster and pass it from one to the other. I guess that has the strategic advantage for some folks, but that sort of again is one of these things where we kind of have to be accountable to each other and to listen. We all don't agree on everything, and this space particularly should be open to a cross section and a wide perspective, the widest possible perspective.
In line with what you're saying in this whole conversation, one of the things that I know for a fact, because I'm guilty of it, is we tend to get very emotional about what we believe in and what we stand for. And what's important is that we are entitled to say how we feel and how we want to say it. But it doesn't mean that because we feel that way, everybody else does. So at the end of the day, we have to all agree to disagree. And also remember that we are just an advisory. So everything that we vote for, that we can go, or no, we just have to be happy about that, doesn't mean squat. Unfortunately, I'm using the wrong language, but our votes are advisory at the end of the day as our elected officials, but they do hear us. That is the one thing I can say, and I witnessed that here yesterday at a meeting. Our councilwoman stood in attendance and she listened to everything. So that is a good thing. But I just wanted to mention that, because we all get emotional and then, it's like, they vote for what we wanted. So that's it. Thank you.
Any final questions from folks? Good. So I just want to say thank you to everybody here for giving us the perspective you guys have on how to conduct ourselves in this meeting. I do also want to thank Cesar Zunica. I know before Julio became chair, I did write out to him. He reached out to me, and it means a lot that somebody from the community board reaches out to just, not just anyone, but people from the public, and gives us the opportunity to speak. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. This is an awesome board. You guys have done so much, and I wish everybody well and for us to work together. Please. Thank you, and I appreciate that. And I'll just close with, when I first joined the board, I think I was, I mentioned I was sitting in the corner, and I had so many questions in my head. The board president's office at the time didn't do introductory workshops, so I really felt like I was kind of like thrown into kind of a tornado, and I was also appointed midterm. I was filling someone's vacancy, and I just felt like I didn't really have a support system. I knew people on the board. I knew Sophia. I think I met Pat, and only because she knew my father at the time. And one of the things I really want to make sure we do is, moving forward is that like we're not kind of doing the same thing over again. And one thing that I think we learned during the pandemic is board members who kind of came on, we were kind of really doing the same thing, and that wasn't really productive. And if we're going to have a productive and active board, we need to make sure that folks know how to be a productive and active board. So I appreciate you folks being here, and we're looking forward to rolling up our sleeves together. So thank you. With that, meeting adjourned.